All right, welcome to the party, pals. So today is going to be a continuation of our risk register that we've been working on this month. So today and tomorrow we'll just be doing some review, maybe adding a few items to that. And then also I was going to showcase one of the different GRC tools that you may come across that's really similar to what some of the other popular tools that are also in the market. So definitely GRC Mafia. I see a few people popping into chat already. And yeah, welcome to the party, pal. So we'll go through this intro real quick. And right off the bat, we're all here for a shared mission to break down barriers, foster collaboration and community, working towards a more secure future together for everyone. This is a very strong, tight-knit, learning and growing environment. So everybody's welcome. Any level that you're at, whether you're a newcomer or you're a practitioner, we welcome you. Drop your questions, drop your resources and so forth. And yeah, I mean, we're all here just to, share the information. The industry is so broad, there's no way one person can learn it all. And so that's a huge aspect of the community where, one person may be really, really good at something and you could always ask them and be like, hey, I'd like to learn more about this, or hey, how would you approach this? And getting those different perspectives are really, really useful as well. Now, our new streaming schedule, so Monday, Tuesday is our hands-on at 11 a.m. Central. That's what today is. Wednesday is our GRC Let's Get Technical. So last Wednesday, we talked about some of the basic networking and so forth. Now, this Wednesday, we're going to talk about some of the different popular technology roles that are out there. And so maybe you might find a better fit over there. But one of the biggest things that I'm going to position on Wednesday for the technical roles that are out there for the technology side is the different departments. So we may work with networking engineers, we may work with system admins, the SOC analysts, incident response, cyber threat intelligence individuals in those types of departments. And so there's a lot of different technology departments that we may come across and work with as well. And so understanding some of those different roles and what their purposes are, what their objectives are, is a huge benefit to everything. And then this Thursday is going to be our job readiness and group resume review. So if you do want to submit your resume, let me go ahead and pull up the link here. You can go ahead and submit it through this link that I'm going to drop in chat. This is available through our website for our new contact form. We're going to make a fancier form here in the near future, but that will allow it to go through and go through VirusTotal for us, so we don't have to keep popping up open VMs for it. And then also it just kind of automates the process a little bit, so we can kind of delegate that out a little bit and keep track of it better. We do not currently have any resumes lined out for this Thursday, but worst case scenario, it's job readiness. So we'll talk about, maybe we'll do some job hunting for an individual or people in the community, or talk about, some of the job readiness. We could do some interviewing, practice and things like that as well. And then also Friday is our AMA at 11 a.m. Central. Now, I can go ahead and drop the stage link if anybody would like to come up. You do not have to turn on your video if you would not like to, but definitely prefer the microphone if you do decide to come up on stage. I want everybody to feel comfortable to do so if you'd like. And then also, if you'd like to share your personal LinkedIn, the best place to do that is inside of our Discord server. So we have a live chat channel inside of our Discord server where you can post your personal LinkedIn or other social media platforms in order to connect and network with everybody. Also, outside of our streams, the Discord server is super vital. So whenever you're studying and you're not sure about something, or you're looking for something in particular, or you want to get advice for something or otherwise, the Discord server is absolutely amazing for that. That's one reason why we went off and did the server itself just for Study GRC, but there's a lot of other communities out there as well on Discord. If you do have any other questions, whether it pertains to what we're talking about at the time or not, go ahead and drop that. Worst case scenario, we'll circle back around to that shortly after or otherwise. And then if you do say something or share something that you don't want to be public, just reach out to me on Discord or LinkedIn, or you can also contact me at contact@studygrc.org, and we could go ahead and see what we can do to get that redacted. And then we're almost to the meat of it. Now, also, we have our website, so studygrc.org. That's where you can find the other platforms that we stream to. We also have our resources page and a couple other useful things there as well. the resources page and the calendar are two of the biggest highlights. I just went through and scheduled all of the videos, or most of the videos, for next month. And so you could go ahead and check out what's to come up. And so like, we're going to have a complete deep dive just on VLANs, for an example. An individual was asking more information about VLANs. And so I figured we might as well just do a whole deep dive on that for one individual stream. We have a couple other really cool ones coming up as well. We'll also start digging more into the GRC tools next month and actually starting to do the actual assessment with the CSF 2.0. So some pretty awesome stuff coming up. And we have amazing talks for next month as well. Let's see. And then also, of course, most of you are familiar with BDubs' website. So a couple of things that I wanted to mention here is we'll have a full announcement on Thursday. So Thursday is our primary meeting at 6 p.m. Central. But so check out BDubs' website there. She goes through and she posts a article related to GRC cybersecurity every single Monday. But then also there's this other website link that I'm putting into the chat now because BDubs is also launching a CISSP study group, which is really awesome for not only people who want to go through and actually take the CISSP exam, but then also it covers such a broad range. So like the entire first domain is all about risk management and governance. And so there's a lot of information, whether you are new to the field or not, it's really welcoming to everybody. And so that's going to be a 15-week program. And I'm dropping the link just to that in chat as well. And that's going to be starting, the very first episode for that is going to be on March 4th. And then the way it's going to work a little bit, we can go into more detail at a later time, but we're going to there's already channels set up inside of our Discord server that you can go through and apply that role. So if you join our Discord server, you can go over to the info and links, and you'll see a section right there that says CISSP study group. And you can enable notifications, and that also unlocks CISSP channels for you as well. There's a voice channel and a general channel. So that way people who are going through that have a place to jump into voice chat and then also ask questions related just to that program. So I wanted to throw that out there as well. There's a lot of exciting things happening. Let's see. And then also I threw this up here. I see PBO in chat. So yeah, definitely check out PBO's channel. He goes live every single Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And he has over 800 videos now all around the GRC realm. His compliance list is absolutely insane. But also I had to add notes to this slide deck here so you could see sponsor slots available and donation and giveaway. So I'm going to go through and like set up a whole thing for this. However, so we are currently actively looking for sponsorship. If you have a suggestion or otherwise, you can also send people to us directly. But we are definitely looking for sponsorship at this time. We had talked about that at the State of Study GRC. It's been a little over a month now, almost 2 months now. Wow, time flies when you're having fun, huh? And then also we do have the donation option, which you'll see that posted in chat automatically with Nightbot. I don't want anybody to feel obligated to do so, but if you'd like to donate to the mission, I want to just throw that out there, mostly because the board wants me to, But and then also another really big thing, I don't think I've actually initiated on stream yet. However, we do have an official sponsor for the giveaway. And so if you join our Discord server, every single month we go through and we do a giveaway of some sort. And so this month we're going to go ahead and do it for memberships for the sponsor themselves, but usually we'll have books, we'll have maybe some courses or other memberships or merch, all kinds of different various things. There's absolutely no obligation other than being inside of our Discord server. You just go to our Discord server, you go over to the giveaways channel and you hit participate on each of the giveaways that are published every month. And so this month is going to be, we're giving away 2 different 1-month memberships to cyber.com. And so I'm putting that in chat here too. So Cyber has gone through and they are the official sponsor for the giveaways for the next 6 months, which 100% of that goes back to the community. So long story short, they've gone through and they've said, hey, we're going to give $50 to the community every single month. And that's the budget that we've worked with this whole time. So we've been doing the giveaway for a while. And yeah, that's pretty much that. If you guys have any other questions or otherwise, definitely let me know. And then let's go ahead and dig into this a little bit here. And welcome to the party, pal, everybody. Yeah, and so like I see like 8-Bit Oni is also saying like looking forward to B-Dubs' study sessions. It's going to be very thorough, very, very good setup. Also lurking while doing work. PBO in chat. We got Rania. We got B-Dubs in chat too. Ben Tech. Welcome to the party, pals. GRC Mafia. And then one of the big key things that we've been working on. So this entire month for the hands-on, we've been going through and building out this risk register that you see up on screen. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to the template. So if anybody else is watching this and you're just now tuning in or otherwise, this is the link to the template of this risk register that you could take this template and you could build your own risk register. I highly recommend looking at the previous ones of us actually going through and building this out up to this point. Now, today and tomorrow, we're really just preemptive streams. And so really what I'm looking at doing is just going back over some of this, talking about it a little bit more, and we can also add more to it. And so one of the things I want to do here too is I can also share the link to this so you guys can open this up on your own and take a look at it. So there's the template, and then also there is the one for our risk register directly. Let's see here. All right. And so if anybody has any questions up to this point, definitely feel free to drop those. I'm going to go ahead and drop the stage link as well if anybody would like to come up and participate or ask a direct question or otherwise. Otherwise, we're just going to go through and try to see if we could add to this. And then there's also the CISO Assistant part, which I wanted to showcase a little bit today and tomorrow as well. We're going to be utilizing CISO Assistant like next month, because I had mentioned that next month we're going to start digging into actually doing the assessment portion of it and really starting to work with that CSF 2.0 with our program. And so the big reason why we started off with the risk register is because we need to identify like what types of risk are out there. And one of the very first videos next month. So next Monday, we're going to be actually going through and categorizing and developing a list of the different platforms and vendors that we have. And then we'll also be utilizing that to be like, okay, so this is like our threat landscape to an extent. So this is the different areas that we need to be aware of and take into consideration, which gives us a better idea at the overall risk for the business. But this gives us a really good starting point. So we got phishing emails, like a file download on here. We got data deletion or removal, automation process failures. So like we started using automations, and so that's a risk. The likelihood's rather high, but the impact's pretty low. Like if it did fail. Let's see, account takeover or compromise, that's a pretty big impact. So the likelihood is only a 3, but if we look back over here at this likelihood and risk values, a 3 on the impact value is going to be, still, a 3 on the likelihood value, is still going to be, in between that once per year to between 1 to 10 times a year. So that's definitely something for us to take a closer look at and try to limit that impact there, which is also where like some of these other ones mention like misconfiguration of access controls. So by mitigating misconfigurations of access controls, we could also limit the impact of account takeover or compromise as well. So there's a lot of different things that we could do here, and a lot of these coincide with each other as well. It's just like we also have like lack of regulatory compliance, and I believe we had another one in here for like legal fines or something along those lines as well. And we could keep this list growing. So there's so many different things that we could add in here. Let me double check chat here. All right, perfect. And so what I'm probably going to do here in a moment is transition over to the CISO Assistant part and just start showcasing how we're going to move that in there. And there's also this other section. I'll show the install instructions as well. But that's pretty much the gist of why we started building up the risk register to begin with. just to give us an idea and a starting point of like, okay, these are our areas of concern. And so I'm trying to think of, there's literally always hundreds of different potentials and so forth. So, but I think we have a pretty good starting point. I mean, we only have 16 items listed here, but still, these are some pretty to the point potentials. Oh, look at that. We got PBO hopping in.
What's up?
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'm doing all right. I guess I should check with you. Tuesday, what I did is you did the risk here. I took account takeover and did a threat model of the account takeover. So that's what I'm gonna go over on Tuesday, just kind of building on your risk register.
So are you saying you just hopped in order to
gloss myself? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give myself a shout out. Shout out to me.
I did shout out PBO's 100% free, no paywalled content.
Facts. Shout out to me. So I did, and I'm using something I've never done before because you kind of been talking about it. I'm a live doing, Microsoft's got a program called Stride. So you kind of do a model and it lists all the attack vectors off of Stride. So I'm gonna make it a working session. Shout out to my young man, Quarter Billions. That's something he does that a lot. So I've done it before. 10 years ago, I've done some stuff with Stride. So just doing something super simple. Like I said, just gonna kind of walk through it. Do a threat model. Stride. You just going off of your account takeover.
Yeah, and so that's going to be tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and like on my screen it says 8, but that's because I'm in Central Time.
Correct.
So I dropped the link to that video as well. So PBO goes live every single Tuesday night. Hopefully you start streaming 5 days a week, but you also have hundreds of other videos.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish that course.
And PBO is publishing a 853 NIST course as well.
Yeah, so I'm getting close. So I'm doing the case studies, and I'm gonna do the capstone hopefully this weekend. Take a small company in Amazon and do a very broad NIST assessment.
And I'm glad you asked that question. Apple in the A. So that is a very questionable name, I would say, but I'm curious to learn more about the name. However, I love that you asked that question. I am more than happy to provide you an introduction to CISO Assistant.
Facts.
So, prepare to be, definitely have a seat. Be prepared to be mind blown. Now, CISO Assistant, we went through and we did do a introduction video with them. I could find the link for that here in a moment and drop that in chat for you, where one of the co-founders of CISO Assistant went through with a live stream with us and showcased their product. What's unique about CISO Assistant, which I pulled up on screen here, is their instructions for installation. Is you can run this inside of a Docker container. You could also just run it on a Linux machine. But the Docker container makes it extremely easy. What's so useful about CISO Assistant is that they have their community edition. So it is a GRC tool that is very similar. It's a clone. It's identical to what other types of GRC tools you'll see out there utilized in industry. It provides a lot of stuff. I'll actually showcase the panel for you in a moment. It is a full service GRC tool, and it's under active development. It's production ready. They have the community edition, which is completely free and open source, which provides you about 90% of all of the features for no cost. Now, there are some features that they have that are in the paid version only. So if you want the additional features that aren't included in the community, then it's like $45 a month per user, which is also extremely competitive. And they even host it for you, or they do have on-prem for those enterprise clients as well. Now, that's what I love so much about CISO Assistant, is that they're really community driven on that aspect. You won't find very many companies who are willing to put this amount of time and money into delivering such a quality product. And this makes it possible for these small and medium-sized businesses that don't have the budget for this to at least have something. Have something to keep track of it outside of just a single spreadsheet. And one of the biggest aspects of it is it gives them an option to, okay, well, we have this GRC tool. Well, I never even heard about third-party risk management. They have a whole section inside of their panel for that. So there's things that they'll come across as they dig into CISO Assistant, be like, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And so it goes from being a checklist to actually making a difference. And so I'll go ahead and drop the link to this page here. So they have this entire walkthrough for their product. I will go off and say that I feel like they could do a better job with the documentation because it's under such active development that it's a lot of it's actually kind of outdated to this point, and they don't have enough on their documentation just because of how rapid they're doing the development stages. Like they've made a lot of progress just in the last 2 months, and there's not even documentation on that. Just because of how quick, like they're just pushing stuff out. And I think that's awesome, but it can make it difficult for somebody just getting started with it. And you could download this tool onto a Docker container today. Like that's the awesome part about it. And then, so like this is the actual panel itself. And so I could show you the overview. So this is what we're going to start working with, next month. And, there's so much that goes into this. I highly recommend you to either sign up for their free trial, which is like a free 45-day trial if you just want to have it in the cloud and just give it a 45-day free trial, or you can set it up on your own Docker container on your own computer, which is pretty straightforward as well if you're able to run virtual machines and so forth. You could even put this in the cloud if you wanted to deploy it on AWS or Azure. There's some instructions for that on their help docs that I was showing a moment ago. Which, yes, I did just drop that. Perfect.
Is Lightsail on there? My bad. Is Lightsail on there? You know.
Yes, you could put this on Lightsail. Lightsail has a Docker option.
Okay. I think we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. And so there is so much that goes into this, but we are going to start utilizing this tool. And so one of the things I wanted to showcase is they do have this section here for risk on the left-hand side for vulnerabilities. And they also have like the risk scenarios. And that's the key thing. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be taking this risk register that we did and inputting this into our risk register here in CISO Assistant. And the reason we're going to do that is because these GRC tools are so useful because a lot of this is automated. So like I could assign tasks to different people. I could add users in here and say, oh, hey, you know, this is waiting on this person, or I have to interview that person, or I have to get this type of evidence. And then also you get all of these statistics as well. So you could see here that we don't have anything in here yet, but this is what we're going to start building out during the hands-on sessions. And it just makes everything a lot easier to keep track of and develop reporting and so forth in one platform. You could see here that there's user groups. We have asset tracking. So rather than having the assets in a spreadsheet, we could throw them in here. We could even attach an asset to, like we could add a firewall in here for an example as an asset and mark that as a mitigating factor for one of the controls or one of the risks. There's all kinds of different things. We could add different domains. And one of the best things I love, which they recently added, is their third party area here. So we could list out the different entities that are third parties, whether those are vendors or platforms that we utilize. Like there's a section here for solutions. And so like our different platforms we would put in here as solutions. And then we could even add representatives. So that way we have a contact list of, who do we contact for that company? So like if, this service goes down, what do we do? And so there's a whole bunch of different stuff that goes in here. There's even like the entity assessments, which would be like a form of business impact assessment. And they make it extremely easy to do a lot of this. We also have like the compliance audits, and then we also have risk assessments as well. One of the other big parts here is like the libraries. And this is where it being a community-driven project really comes in handy, is because they are based out of France. However, they do have NIST and all kinds of other things here. So like we could see here like the provider, they have over 130 different libraries in here. And like we could just select CIS for an example, or NIST in here. And I'm looking for NIST. Yeah, here we go. So like I just selected NIST. And so these are all the different frameworks and standards that they have. They have the mapping for 1.1 to 2.0 for CIS or CSF. They also have the AI framework. They have the CSF 1.1. They have the 2.0, the privacy framework, the 171, the 53 revision 5, and even HIPAA put in here from the 866. And so what makes this so unique is that you could easily go through and include these into your program by downloading them and then use them throughout your platform here in order to do a different assessment. So let's say I want to go through and do an 866 assessment. I could add that and then go over to compliance and start an audit against the 866. So, and we'll be doing much more deeper dives, but I wanted to give you a rundown and answer that question in full. It's a really, really neat tool, and I look forward to using it more. And it's affordable. So it's better than having just a spreadsheet or nothing, especially for those small and medium businesses. But this would even work for larger.
How much is that product online? Is it pricey?
$45 per user, which is pretty competitive.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all. I mean, I think Audit Board's like almost twice as much.
I know I looked at Audit Board when I worked for a client. Audit Boards, Archer's just off the chain expensive. 45?
Yeah, and so even $45 a user, that is affordable for a small business even. So when you're looking at those, the government states that there's actual government documents that state that anybody who has 1,000 employees or less is considered small business. So that's the actual government statistic, is 1,000 people or less is considered small.
I don't know if you investigated, and I'm the last question I'm gonna ask you, let you get back. So is a user somebody working in it, or is a user a viewer? Because some products, like Archer, if you're just viewing reports and stuff, you're not a user. They don't charge you for that.
Yes, that's correct. So, my understanding is that you have $45 per user for editing permissions. That's if you're editing something. Okay. And then for each paid user, you get up to 100 viewers. So if I have 5 people who are editing, then I can have up to 500 people who are viewing it. So, that's kind of how their system seems to work. So you get X many viewers per paid subscriber. Yeah. And that also allows you you could also restrict it. That's one thing I really like, is that they have domains in here too. So like you can go through and you can make a domain for your HR department, and you could provide read-only access to the HR manager or whoever's in charge of that department for that particular domain. So they could see what's going on, but they can't edit anything or anything like that. Or you could also submit like evidence requests to them. So yeah,
but if they do,
that's one of the things I like about it.
Is that editing if they send me evidence? Do you know?
No. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the confusing parts about it. That's what I was saying, is like through their documentation page, I think they could do a better job at just getting that updated. They've done rapid development. I have to give them that much. And that's why like their documentation is, I would say, a little bit behind. So, but yeah, like this is actually really valuable, even if you don't have the enterprise version. So even if you just run on the community edition, but then also I had to get permission, because inside of the enterprise edition, you have extras. So I had to get permission to even showcase this. And so this video is not supposed to be about CISO Assistant. But since we're already here, some of the additional cool features of the enterprise edition is these experimental. And so they're making framework mapping, ecosystem radar, and asset explorer. And so this is where you can get like really fancy graphs and diagrams and all kinds of different really cool things. And so let's say we're running 6 different frameworks. Well, as we build that out and do risk assessments and mitigating factors and so forth, we can actually get an entire visual diagram of all of those frameworks and how they map together with all of these different mitigations and risk acceptances and so forth. They even have a whole section in here for risk acceptance as well. So getting actual documented acceptance of risk. So they've done a lot of thought into this. And so this is made by a actual risk management company. So they're a consultant for risk management for doing audit assessment work. So they've compiled this as a tool to make their jobs easier, which I think is why this works so well. They've put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, I had to do that. One of my clients getting a risk acceptance and getting that all documented and signed off on sucks.
Yeah, and that's what makes this so awesome, is because you could onboard your company to this, and then you could have like whoever's in charge for the risk acceptance, you know, and you could actually submit that request within this platform to them. So, and hopefully they, you know, actually do it. But yeah, the fact that they at least included a section just for that and to track those as well is pretty good.
So are they linking it back to the policies? I'm questioning you, like I need to look at it.
You can. Yeah. So like if you were to go through and you have, so when you, I couldn't show it now, but when you go through and you do an audit, then you go ahead and mark out that, oh, this isn't met. And then you can go ahead and submit it for risk acceptance. So then you'll say like, oh, they accept the risk. And then you would attach it to this as a request.
Yeah, because usually for us, risk acceptance means you're violating a policy. So in the risk assessment, you would link like to encryption or password.
Yeah.
You would link it in there. And you would say, we're violating, you know, this is what we're violating. Here's our compensated controls. Here's our mitigated controls. Then for us, you got to be at a certain level to be able to accept the risk. I think for us, our CISO had to accept the risk.
Yeah, and so like here you would select like the domain and so forth, and you can go ahead and do the risk scenario. So like violating XYZ or not meeting this control.
Is that typing, or could you pick the policy? You have to type the policy in? Yeah,
so you would have to, well, so after you fill that out, like under policies or otherwise, then it would autofill this. Okay. So then you could just select from a drop down.
Okay. I'll let you finish.
We just don't have anything in here yet.
No, I'll let you finish. We do it.
Oh, you're fine.
I might go through it. We might, like you said, once we get it set up, we might go through one and just kind of build it up, put a couple policies in there, do a risk acceptance or risk mitigation or transfer risk. Just kind of do one of each and see what it would look like in there.
Yeah, and let me actually pull up this video because we did a video with CISO Assistant and I cut down just the presentation. So they did a 56-minute presentation with us, which I'll go ahead and drop in chat because it really is a great product. I've looked at it into pretty good depth. They did provide us this enterprise edition to play with and so forth and utilize for our program. I never asked for it. And so, yeah, it's a pretty neat tool though. So, and I just like the fact that they have their community edition. I think that's really valuable to the community as a whole. And it also gives all of you guys the option to actually get into a real GRC tool and actually see how a lot of this stuff works.
Is the enterprise in the cloud, or we got to install the enterprise version?
It's in the cloud. So they actually run their own hardware, which is what I found amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy. But,
yeah.
For 45, I could just, I guess, carve out my little company up in there and just run it all in the cloud.
Correct.
For 45?
45 a user per month.
I'll be the only user, right? So
and I highly and so like what I would recommend too is let me go back to it here. So man, I really had to go back there. So also for those of you I went ahead and pulled this up on screen, but they also have a 45-day no string attached trial as well. So anybody can sign up for this and get 45 days of their enterprise trial. So, and so like for UPVO, it would make more sense to go through and do their trial for 45 days. And then at that point, you could either say yay or nay.
Yeah, 100%.
So
I like it because I might, I probably need to reach out to them. I might step through that and record for my course just so you can see what it would look like in a GRC tool.
Yeah, and so you could also see here, so these are the different options here. So it comes out to, they are based out of France, so the pricing is a little different, but it does come out to about $45 US. And then, like I said, they do have on-premise options for those large enterprises. So And then, like I said, they have their community edition, which includes like 90% of what's in the enterprise one. One of the other really cool things too is that they have, let me grab an invite, because they have an active Discord server. And so that's one of the best things that I like, is that they're really responsive. They're knocking stuff out left and right for the development end, for the commercial and for the community edition constantly. And then also, if you ever have questions or anything, whether it's for the enterprise or the community one, they're active inside of their Discord all the time too. So I just dropped a link to their Discord server. Yeah, and thanks, AMK. I hope the audio quality is a little bit better. Yeah, exactly. Josh EC, thanks for joining the party. Welcome to the party, pal. Yeah, so we were talking about like the risk register and reviewing some of that a little bit. And then we kind of went down a little rabbit hole about CISO Assistant. And so I dropped some links to that. And then let me go ahead and transition back over to this tab. So I had dropped this link earlier. And so today's video and tomorrow's video is more about just reviewing some of this and just talking to it at more depth. So if anybody had any questions or otherwise, definitely let me know. One of the biggest positions here was, let me drop this other link too. So this link that I'm dropping in chat for Google is the template for this risk register. And so that was one of the big intentions, is to showcase actually building out the risk register, its purposes and so forth. And then also, so you guys had a template and an idea of how to go through and build your own out. So, and if you guys would like to definitely build out a risk register and so forth, follow these videos throughout. And then you can also always drop that into like our Discord server to get other perspectives and insight. And like, you could get like some type of rating, basically. Get like that peer review. Let's see here. Bam. All right. When's your tabletop, PBO?
I don't know. I'm trying to get that finished. I got a lot of stuff going. So, yeah, shout out to the account taker. Can I share the screen real quick? I'm gonna take over the screen. You mind if I take over the screen? I'm gonna take over the screen.
Yeah, run it.
All right. It's super quick. Like Chris was saying on mine on Tuesday night, like at the top, we're gonna do stride. You see the account takeover. And if you look in the middle, those are the 4 ways you could use account takeover: credential stuffing, phishing attack, man in the middle. And like Chris said, in mitigation, the favorite one, Dr. Ozier said, if you're not doing MFA, you're negligent. So once again, then Chris got, I think you got the FIDO, you got the token, right? I don't know if you have a FIDO token, but there's some tokens.
Yeah, I have the FIDO too.
Then the strong password.
The YubiKey key.
Yeah, strong passwords. And if you're on a website, secure sessions to make sure you locking down and nobody's doing man in the middle in your website. So once again, I'm a Tuesday night just gonna piggyback off of Chris with the account takeover. We're gonna do threat modeling, just what it's gonna look like. Back to you, Chris.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, and I had dropped a link to that video. So as we were saying a minute ago, is PBO goes live every single Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So I think you really should just start branding that as like late night with PBO. After hours.
I'm getting old. I might have to switch the time. I'm getting old. I'll be tired the next day. But back to you. But yeah, that's once again doing the threat model off of your risk register. Kind of like what would it be the next steps for your GRC for your GRC team and what that would look like. Building on the top. I was gonna see, can we put that in CISO Assistant?
Yes,
it's
possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. But yeah, so that's in reference to this account takeover compromise. And so that was one of the different things that we lined out here. So on line item number 5, but row 14. So account takeover. So what could go wrong? So what's the consequence? Is going to be brand reputation, data loss, exfil, financial loss, legal issues, operational disruption. The trigger, what's going to make that compromise occur is going to be weak passwords, phishing attacks, malware, credential stuffing, lack of MFA. We went ahead and marked the likelihood as a 3 out of 10 and the impact is at 8 with an overall of a 24. Our strategy would be to enforce MFA, awareness training, antivirus, and strong password requirements. And then I'm throwing that onto our CISO.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Real quick, what made me think of that is the question Steph brought up when we were on the live is what kind of would be the next steps from that if you were trying to do that. So that's kind of how me kind of come up with the threat modeling.
And so what I was planning on going through and doing is we'll go ahead and we'll do like a gap with the NIST CSF 2.0 based off of our current environment, which is virtually 0. And then we'll take that and then we'll actually line out POAM for to start working on it. I don't know how many small businesses go through and line out POAMs, but that was my plan.
No, I very rarely see it.
It's one benefit with being a GRC small business.
The only time I see them doing it, like we talked about, if they had some kind of federal compliance, because the IRS or just the FBI is going to make you do a POAM. If people don't make them do the POAM, I very rarely see that.
Yeah, and so the best thing to do is our calendar on our website, which I'll pull up here. You can head on over to our website and take a look at the calendar, and you can see some of these videos we have lined out. And so like the first couple of videos we're going to do, it doesn't actually line it out here, but so we're going to like list out our vendors and platforms that we use. And then we're also going to like start working towards identifying that risk a little bit further. And then there's like 5 of these videos here where we're going to actually start our gap with the CSF 2.0 and start working towards like where we are now and where we want to be. And then we're going to list out on a POAM spreadsheet, which we'll do live next month here. So the 10th, 11th, 17th, 18th, and the 24th are all going to be around that. I'm not even on the right month. Here we go. Yeah. So see, there we go. That's easier when I'm on the right month. But yeah, you could see assessment with CSF. And that's where we're going to go through and actually start out the POAMs as well. So plan and action milestones.
Yeah, I think Josh Shee was kind of bringing that up in the chat.
On the policies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of always kind of made it a little difficult for me sometimes is you could be asking exception for more than one policy. So trying to link up what policies you were actually asking for acceptance. I try to be lazy and just put one policy on there. And sometimes you would get pushback, but yeah.
And so I don't know if I have it in here right now, but that's one of the other things that we're going to do is, so you could see here, I already have the CSF 2.0, the 5x5 risk matrix, and the attack framework in here. And so our policy section, we're going to go through and actually line this out and say, so inside a CISO Assistant here for our policies, because we have virtually no policies at this time. And so we'll go in here and we'll say, like we need acceptable use policy or something. I think they actually have a reference here. Yeah, so we could even reference a control related to that. So like audit. So we'll reference audit. Okay, well then we could also say like audit procedures or whatever we want for that. Describe the document itself, who's in charge of it. And then we could also add the status, like this is to do. And then we could also mark at the progress on developing this policy as well.
Do they give you templates for policy at all?
They do not provide templates for it, no.
That's small. That would be nice though. We need to go and give it as an enhancement.
I think this is more of a Thursday talking topic, but I think templates are great, but then also like PBO has publicly disclosed that he just runs to ChatGPT to draft his policies.
Facts.
I don't know how I feel about that, PBO. Like I think templates are great as a starting point.
Facts.
But like
I'll still have to
You have
customize.
you have enough experience in order to fix it and make it right.
Yeah, but sometimes too is, and I mean that's a discussion I always fall back on is I rather the policy be 80% and you learn it than 0% and you have nothing. So I go back and forth on that a little bit. I agree with what you're saying, but if the company has something and at least they're reviewing it and they sign off on it, they
Yeah, better than nothing.
right. So then as you get more mature too as an org, so I kind of fall a little more back into that. I used to be your way at first. If you don't have a SME in your team, but then companies start having zero, right? So
Yeah. Well, and then one of my best resources here, what I really like is, so SANS has this entire archive of different templates that I put up on screen here. And so you can go through here, like somebody recently in Simply Cyber was asking for a AI policy. And so you can come here and take a look at SANS AI use policy. So that's a really good resource.
Thanks.
So, and like honestly, that's probably what I would go through and do. And we'll showcase this live streaming too, because we're going to develop everything through these Monday and Tuesday live streams. So like when we go through and we do our AI use policy, what I will likely do is I'll actually download this document, and I actually want to go ahead and pull this up. I don't know how I'll pull this up on stream, but
Pull it up.
yeah, I'm going to try to.
Well, I always figure about SANS. I usually do most of the NIST special publications have templates in the back. Some of those are pretty old. Or the CIS, they have a ton of templates in there. I usually go. I'm old because I do big systems. I usually do the FedRAMP.gov. They got a ton of templates.
Wow.
The NIST special pubs has templates, and CIS have templates. I always forget about SANS. So those are the three big ones I use. Then I generate them out on ChatGPT. Go ahead.
Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. So yeah, here is the AI use policy one. Let me change this around. That's fine. Yeah, I think you guys could still see that pretty well. But so you could see here with the SANS AI use policy, this is just one example of like probably over 100 different templates that they have. And then it goes into pretty good detail on how big is this document? 11 pages. So 11 pages, which gives you a really good starting point. And so my plan would be to take this, I would literally copy this out or export this to a PDF and feed that into AI and say, hey, here's an example of an artificial intelligence use policy. This is my company. This is what I'm trying to do. Provide me areas of improvement and modify this for me to give me more of a starting point and also better prompting for the AI. So
That's good
use
point.
it as a tool, not as a, human in the loop is becoming more popular. But you could see just how thorough this is. Like they go into some really good detail. So like we could just, one thing I don't like is I don't see like an index or a table of context here.
I've very rarely seen them for policies, to be honest.
I like those. I like that, especially when it's like 11 pages. But see, like integrity and use, all users of AI systems should be honest about how AI helped in getting the work done. Even if using an AI system approved by the AI committee, for an approved use, you should ensure your manager or the department requesting a task for which you are using the AI system is aware of the use of the AI system.
Thanks. But
Do not pass off AI generated work as done by you solely. So like it gets you like 80% of the way there.
I guess the other thing too that a lot of people I see fail in audits is they would take that. Then my question as an auditor is, I need to see the documentation for the AI committee. They don't have an AI committee, right? So you need to understand what those policies says. So that's kind of where I see people use templates. They don't fully read them and understand them. Because my next question is, once again, I need to see your mini meetings from your AI committee. And the things I love to see is I need you to see you reject something from the AI committee. So you should have acceptance and rejection. So where's your documents? And most people, because they generate from templates, that they
Yeah.
have an AI committee, especially from a smaller company.
Sounds like a plan. But yeah, so that's a rundown. We went through a few more of those items and talked a little bit more about the risk register portion. And I also dropped the links for the template. And then also, if you guys want to actually view this, I had dropped that link as well. If you guys need those links again, definitely let me know. I'd mentioned the calendar and how we got most of the videos scheduled for next month. The only one we haven't scheduled yet is just the second Thursday. So that will be a talk about product security and GRC, which PBO may be familiar with ProdSec. But we do have like a recognized industry expert for production or product security that will be talking also about that overlap with GRC. And so that's something you don't really hear talked about very often, but it's very important. So that's going to be the second talk next month. We're just waiting for the description portion of it. So let's see. And then also that very first talk is going to be a big one. But definitely take a look at that calendar section. Let us know what you guys want to see coming up as well. I scheduled out those streams largely based off of community feedback. So it's just like that deep dive for VLAN. And so you could see here, we also have like navigating GRC technologies implementation, a survivor's guide is going to be the first talk next month on the 6th. That's going to be about like onboarding vendors, working with different platforms and technology for GRC. Very, very insightful. And then selecting policies, we're going to do VLAN. We're going to go through and start the assessment stages for the CSF. We're also going to have a like why Linux, what is Linux, and some of the basics of that. And yeah, just push through it. Definitely looking for community feedback on what you guys want to see. What are you guys working on and so forth. We'll bring this to an end here shortly. We did go off track a little bit talking about CISO Assistant, but we're going to try to implement that as well because it's also important to showcase the GRC tooling. And I highly recommend checking that tool out. So hop into their Discord server. You can also ask questions inside of ours. Their employees and so forth are inside of our server as well. So yeah. Thanks for hopping in, Cyber Satyr.
I always mess his name up.
So do I.
Cyber Satyr.
I'm pretty sure he corrected me once.
He did. I remember. I was there. And I still couldn't get it right.
Yeah, and so like I did post the SANS templates there, but also CIS does also have templates as well. They just don't have as large of an archive. So SANS seems to be like the go-to. You mentioned NIST templates.
Yeah, if you go to like 161 or any of the special publications, they have templates in the back, usually in the appendix for those.
Bam. But yeah, we'll be bringing it to an end here shortly. So these weekly streams are gauged to about an hour in length. But if you guys do have any questions or otherwise, definitely drop those into the Discord server. That's a great place to catch everybody outside of the streams. And then we'll be back again tomorrow. We are streaming 5 days a week now. And then, take a look at that schedule for next month and let us know what other topics you'd like. We could always add additional streams on. I hope everybody has a great week. Welcome to Monday.
I'm struggling.
And don't forget to, if you didn't catch all of those self promotions, don't forget to catch PBO stream tomorrow night.
Shout out to me. Shout out to me.
I mean, you might as well. I mean, it's also recorded on YouTube, so it's completely free, no paywall. So I don't know why he donates so much of his time.
Giving back, man. I remember when I was you in 1990. I was trying to figure out what's going on. More programming, but still so many more cool resources. Shout out to B-Dub. Hopefully she's feeling better.
To PBO.
Does B-Dub still have a trucker voice?
A what voice?
Are you still sick?
I am still very sick, yes. Back.
Oh, you got to patch it. Did you want to give you want to push through that and give a quick rundown on that CISSP again for the final sign off?
Oh yeah, I'm pushing through. The CISP study group is coming up next week. We'll start on Tuesday, March 4th, and it'll be every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and then Saturdays at 3 p.m. Central Time for 15 weeks. So it looks like, what was it, June 14th, I think, is how long it'll go to.
So what are the times, B-Dub? Tuesday at what? You say
Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Time. So right before PBO. And then Saturdays at 3 p.m. Central Time.
Central, so that'll be
7 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, you said 6 on?
So,
Saturday 3. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. So 6 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, which we purposely picked that time to lead into PBO's stream. And then Saturday is at 3 p.m. Central Time. So that's going to be Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and then Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, yeah.
You do not need to sign up for it. However, if you go to that website link that I dropped, which is cissp.brittwhite.io, then you can go ahead and take a look at that YouTube channel. So B-Dubs will be live streaming that on her channel. That is the biggest thing that you should do, is go subscribe to her channel in order to get those notifications. Make sure you turn on the notifications. And then if you're inside of our Discord server, then we have a general chat for it. We have a voice channel for it and everything else. And you can go ahead and grab the role for CISSP study group to receive Discord notifications related to that. So those would be the 2 action items before that launches on March 4th.
I got an announcement when you got a minute, Chris.
Send it, PBO.
Since Space Tacos with her learning styles and B-Dubs is CISP, I am professionally committed that I'm showing up to those sessions. Very begrudgingly, but I'm going to show up to the CISP. I've been talking about getting it for 20 years. So since B-Dubs is going to lead it with her time, I'm going to definitely show up to those sessions. Probably grumpy, but I am committing on camera that I will be in those sessions. Go ahead, Chris.
Not just on camera, but on live stream. So now PBO is committed to attend every single one of the 30 sessions. And also another shout out to it is that this 15-week program covers 100% of the objectives. So
yeah. So all I had to do was commit to actually leading the study group to get a commitment from PBO.
Facts. She's committed.
I got you, PBO.
I'm there. I got her to finish up my AWS for that started though. I got about a week to finish up. So that'll be cool.
Bam. But yeah, thank you to everybody for hopping in. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. You guys have a great rest of your Monday. Kill the week, and I'll catch you guys in the rest of the streams this week. Tomorrow, we'll go ahead and pick up on the risk register, and we may just go ahead and start importing that into CISO Assistant, or maybe just go back through and work with some more of that likelihood and impact portion. So if any of you guys have gone through and started that project, we can also bring that up on screen and start going over your risk register as well, if you would like to share that with the community. But yeah, thank you for everybody for tuning in, and you guys have a great rest of your day. GRC Mafia. Catch you guys in Discord.